What's up, guys? Welcome back to Radharc Ranch. I didn't get a chance to do a before, but we are going to do our first little garden tour today. So I'm going to try and take you down each row and show you exactly what we have planted. I wanted to do a before and after. I do have a before picture that I will stick in here, and then you should be able to see how much everything has exploded. This is July 12th, so we will be, this is what, 1, 2, 4, we're about 5 weeks into the garden season from when I actually started planting things. I think I had a little bit in towards the beginning of May, but the majority of my stuff did not go in until close to Memorial Day. So there's a couple things that I just recently planted, but we're going to go through row by row and I'll show you exactly what's in the garden. So we're going to start when you come down the steps off the deck to the right of the garden. So when you come down off the deck, you walk into this archway which has nothing on it. I had intended for this to have some noodle beans on it, but I ended up not planting those, and I didn't move this trellis from last year, so I had a really hard time getting this grass out of here. So I just recently planted here some moonflowers and some morning glories so that they would come up and climb this trellis and be a gorgeous, you know, entrance, if you will. And then whenever you walk in, you've got my dahlias, which I thought were the same color, turned it out not being the same color. So these ones are yellow, and these ones are a very, very large, much larger head. Like, look at how big those are. These things are enormous. Aren't they just gorgeous? And then these are a little bit smaller, but still that color is just insane. So then we'll go down these tomato rows, but we're going to start over here. So to the right we have oregano and dill, a couple potatoes. The rest of these potatoes my dog decided to dig up, but instead we have some volunteer blue spice basil. And then over here to the right of this first trellis, this is all asparagus. I have a feeling that I'm going to regret planting that asparagus there, because one, it will forever come up there, and that's not where I wanted it. But my seed, I planted this asparagus from seed, so I have 3 years until I can harvest ish. The thing is, I don't know that I want this asparagus particularly right there. I will be able to transplant it later, but I wanted to get it in the ground to get those established so that they would grow, and then in a couple years, even if I do move them, they'll still be an established asparagus that we can harvest and eat. So then these tomatoes obviously are on that side. We're going to continue down this right side. There's really nothing right here. I think in this space right here, I'm going to end up just making a couple rows of green beans just to get some extra harvest of green beans. I do have more green beans in here, but the more green beans the better, because we do can a lot of green beans and we eat a lot of green beans. So that's the game plan with this space. I did have some strawberries here, but they didn't really do super great. And then here we have got zucchini. Well, here on this row, these are potatoes, and there's a mix of a russet and then a purple potato, which I absolutely do not remember what variety it is. But these I just picked up from like Tractor Supply and grabbed those and stuck them in. So they actually look like they're getting ready to be able to be harvested. So we'll be harvesting those soon. And then these zucchinis, I've got a couple different varieties of zucchini, and they're doing great. I should have thinned these out a little bit more, but I didn't. So these two plants are one variety. These I succession sowed, so these ones are a little bit further behind. And then this is another variety that kind of grows a little different. See how this stalk grows out. And all of these zucchinis grow down, whereas the other one just grows straight out from the inside of the plant. It's super interesting how different these grow. They're very, very prolific. Like that zucchini right there is probably going to be the size of a small child in 2 days. I tried to do 4-foot rows, which my zucchinis are probably, I would say 5 foot in diameter. So they kind of went out a little bit further than I anticipated, but that's okay. So, and I split each row, and so I could do 2 crops. On the right side is the zucchini, on the left side, these are striped green beans, and I've already got 1 2-gallon bucket off of these already. So then if we come back to the yellow dahlias at the beginning of this row, we'll come down and I have tomatoes planted. And on these are all my, this is my row of cherry tomatoes. I believe these are black. Yeah, these ones are a black cherry, which they're starting to come on. And then these are also a black cherry. Those ones are absolutely my favorite. These ones here are a Brad's Atomic Grape. I believe these are also a black cherry. Black cherry. And I'm not sure what this one, oh, this one is another black cherry. Goodness. Let me go ahead and pull this sucker off. I've noticed my cherry tomatoes go crazy with the suckers. Look at how cute. Oh boy. I feel like you can really tell the difference whenever these are growing and how fast they spread out. My cherry tomatoes go wild, whereas my slicers don't go as wild whenever it comes to spreading wide. Like usually with the cherry tomatoes, I can barely catch the suckers on those, whereas I'm pretty good about catching the suckers on the slicers, and my slicers get like really big stalks, like they really thicken up and get a good hearty base. So on this side, if we start with this dahlia, by the way, both of these dahlias came from Aldi's, but then I here just recently planted this whole bed with zinnias because I had intentions of planting something else here and it ended up not working out. At the end of each one of these first half of the garden tomato beds, we have basil. So this is a purple leaf basil, this is a large leaf basil, another large leaf basil, and then I can't remember what variety this is. On there is a blue spice basil. So then if you come back up this row, here begins some of my slicers. I actually believe this tomato here is a volunteer. Whatever tomato I planted here died, and I had this volunteer coming up in the garden, and I went ahead and just let it be. And now this, I cannot yet decide what variety it is or if it's a cross from something from last year. This one here is a Thornburns terracotta, which is actually what this looks like. And then if you come up here, this one I believe is also a volunteer that I just stuck here. Wisconsin 55, a Jubilee, which is a yellow, another Jubilee, which is a yellow, Ukrainian purple, and Ukrainian purple. So I tried to keep all of those together, and then I have borage here as like a trap crop to try to deter the bugs from the tomatoes. So this is where we walked in the first time. This is the next set. On this arch, I have Kajari melons. Then I have an L shape of sunflowers here. And then inside that is some chamomile that I've attempted to start from seed. These sunflowers have no rhyme or reason. I mixed 4 different varieties of what I had. And then this is my chamomile, which is looking a little sad, but it's better than last year. Last year I couldn't get it to come up at all. This is stevia. These are my Kajari melons. And then I have tomatoes on this row. And these, so halfway, these are the Burgundy Royal green beans. And then from their back are kidney beans that I will let dry and then harvest those for chili and stuff like that. So in this row we have climbing triple crop, and I think a third climbing triple crop. This one here is a volunteer that I did not plant, and I'm willing to bet this is some sort of cherry tomato based off how this looks. And if I was a betting woman, I would say that it is a black strawberry. So then over here we have, oh, this is the Japanese black trifle, which look at the shape of this. Doesn't it look like a pear? It's crazy. And then we have Kellogg's breakfast and another Kellogg's breakfast. And then we end with the basil. These are the kidney beans. These tomatoes at the bottom of this trellis are all volunteers that I found in the garden and transplanted. On the back side of that are all my cucumbers. I planted those right before we went on vacation, so they had a slow start. Compost. These are all peppers, which I had intended on having more peppers than that, but all of my peppers died, so these actually came from Tractor Supply. My bug-ridden cabbages, I ended up harvesting one cabbage. Down there is a pumpkin. It's a sugar pie pumpkin. Over here we have okra. Starting 1, 2, 3. I believe I've got 4 plants that finally came up. Which, look at that okra. I've got one little okra that's coming on. This one's a flower. This will be a flower. So we should be eating okra very soon. Over here we have more tomatoes on this side, which this row was supposed to be entirely Amish paste, and I don't believe any of them actually are. I believe all of my Amish paste died, and these are all volunteers that I kind of let stay, with the exception of that last one that came from Tractor Supply. And then on this side, look at this jungle. These are Jacob's cattle beans. We have some pink celery from M.I. Gardner, and then some more beans. And then on this trellis is sugar snap peas. This is a holy hot mess. So the majority of the garden has been weeded. I did put down, it's a sawdust that I got from a local sawmill, and it's doing a pretty good job. These here are watermelons, and then over here I have a couple cantaloupe to end this row. Clearly I stay at that end of the garden more than I do this end of the garden, but we are getting food regardless. I do need to work on this row a little bit better than I have been. The right side of this trellis didn't get planted yet. I may throw in some green beans there just because they're a short 55 days. I also do want to leave a little bit of space because I'm in Ohio in zone 6 and we have such a short growing period. I want to leave a little bit of space so that I can throw in some of my cold weather crops. I'm getting ready to start my brassicas. I actually just got a box from Bootstrap Farmer today that we will probably open. So the thought process is to start some of my cool weather crops now so that I can get these in and still have space for them. So that's kind of where she is in all of her splendor. It's so peaceful out here, with the exception of my goats yelling in the background. This is my happy place. I love it in here. When the zinnias come up, it's really going to take off. I'm going to try to do better next year about putting flowers in different places instead of like right here at the entrance. Although those moonflowers are going to look fire when they come up, especially with as big as they are. I was reading on the seed package that they can grow anywhere from like 8 to 20 feet in 2 months. So this is July, August, September. We'll have an entire month longer than what they need to hopefully cover this trellis, and I'm hoping that they look awesome. So we shall see with those. Let's go open that Bootstrap Farmer box. Okay, so I attempted to open this box outside, but my husband and my son are trying to sight in a BB gun, and the dog's barking at the cat, so it's total chaos. So I placed an order from Bootstrap Farmer, which I've wanted for a while, but I sucked it up for spring planting and didn't get it. Ooh, sorry. and didn't get it, but I decided to go ahead and splurge because I deserved it and ordered myself only 2, so I didn't go crazy. But this is, I got 2 of these microgreen trays, and then I got 2 sets of these inserts with the cups. And these are like heavy duty cups. I will be able to use these over and over and if I don't throw them around, over and over and over again for seed starting. So I've got all these set up and I'm gonna start all of my brassicas in them. And then the plan is I could start microgreens, but I'm not there yet. So what I'm gonna do is put these trays, because the insert trays have holes in the bottom. And I'm gonna put these trays in my microgreen tray that does not have holes, and then I can bottom water everything. And then I also got a dome for on top so that I have a little mini greenhouse. So that's my game plan, is to start all of my brassicas within these 2 sets. Because I really don't need a ton. I just want some cabbage, maybe some broccoli and cauliflower. Like I said, if you have any suggestions as to how to keep the pest pressure off broccoli and cauliflower, let me know. I also plan on starting carrots. I think I said this already. Carrots and lettuces. Is it lettuces or lettuce? Carrots and lettuce. Carrots, lettuce, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower. I think I have it all set up. And peas. That's the other one that I was forgetting. So that's going to be kind of my fall crop. And then I'm going to succession sow my carrots so that I can harvest some in late fall, and then some I'm going to try to overwinter and harvest in like January, because Callan really likes carrots. So hopefully we can get some good crop out of those. I don't know how it's going to go yet, so this will be my first. I did a little bit of a fall garden last year, but I kind of fell off the wagon towards the end of the year and didn't really harvest a whole lot. So that's my game plan there. I think that's all I have for today. It's probably not the greatest garden tour you've ever seen. Hopefully we can do better next time, but we're learning. So we're always learning. So thank you guys for hanging out with us today. I'm glad that you're here. Please, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for learning with us.